लाखों दरूद और लाखों सलाम, लाखों दरूद और लाखों सलाम.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, now we have the blessed opportunity to refresh those itikaf Amaals that we are supposed to be doing on an individual basis. So here we obviously set a session aside for you so we can do them collectively to help you build up that practice and to ensure that you are doing them properly. And also, as a bonus, today is the night, it's one of those odd nights where it could be Laylatul Qadr, the night of power. So we, rather than always second guessing whether it is today or it's the next odd night, why don't we treat every odd night as the potential night of power and treat it as Laylatul Qadr, so that way we will definitely be guaranteed that we catch it and we are doing the Amaals on that most blessed night. And in order to help us to do the Amaals for this special blessed night, I hand over to Imam Qays, who will be taking you through this session up until Maghrib.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Anbiya wal Mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'du fa'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inna anzalna fi Laylatul Qadr wa ma adraka ma Laylatul Qadr. Laylatul Qadr khayrun min alfi shahr. Tanazzalul malaikatu war ruhu fiha bi'idhni rabbihim min kulli amr. Salamun hiya hatta matla'il fajr. Sadaqal azim. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. We will not go into details of the meaning of the Qadr and what it entails, etc., etc., because we have very limited time until our iftar actually opens or fast opens. So what I'm going to do now is just briefly go through what the Amaals that one should do. If it's like tonight is an odd night, you've got the 25th night, the 27th night, and you've got 29th. It's not always like what we've done in our masajids for those brothers who are new, that the 27th night of Laylatul Qadr, we fixed it. It is not the case. We've now taken up on our shoulders thinking that it is no, and how every single masjid tries to finish the Khatam of the Quran 27th night. No, that's just their understanding, however they made it. It's the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills, He knows, but it's actually the night whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides. But the ishara, the sign that Rasulullah said in the Hadith Mubarak is that He should find it in the odd nights, and that is why we sit in Itikaf, so that we hope that at least every night we're not going to be at least in this being in Itikaf. You won't be going away eating, and you're not going to be away sleeping away maybe, or you're not going to be actually doing anything else which is going to deprive you of actually attaining the blessing. So any night you spend in Itikaf, inshallah you'll be spending ibadah, worship. So that's why you're more or less guaranteed to have Laylatul Qadr. So this is one of the blessings of sitting Itikaf. So what is that we need to do? What is Laylatul Qadr? In one sense, that what our teachers and mashayikh have actually taught us is that Laylatul Qadr is when night of power in which the Quran was revealed. But it's not just really the night of power to what? That power, the ability to change. It should be a night in which it gives you the power to change. If imagine that was the night Allah used to send the kalam of Allah on that night, in which لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله, that if we send the Quran, mountains and everything could not tolerate it because of the power. So in this night is really a night of power in which when the Quran was revealed, this should be the night in which when the light or the power in which comes down, the mercy and blessing that comes down from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it should change your heart and change your ways and change your life forever. No good that, like the brother was asking, what you get if you really, this is the night of power, and it doesn't need to have to be in Ramadan. It's that night in which you say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Rabbal Alameen, forgive me, I have lived my life the way I've been living, not according to you, but now I want to change. I have had enough of this life. I have lived a life. I've had enough. I put my hand up. I've had enough of putting my head in the lap of shaitan and nafs. I want to be with you. Just as you heard before, our beloved teacher mentioning who we really are. That we were really the kings of paradise living on this earth. The kings of paradise, that's who we really are. Kings and princes of paradise. That is where our real abode is. And yet still we're going after this lowly thing and lowly desires and lowly ones. And now Allah says, how shameful is that? So this is why we utilize this night, is that to change ourselves. And that is really when you find the power within you to change. That I want to change to what? To the life of the Prophet ﷺ. That is really the night of power that we should be seeking. Not just in Ramadan, but any other time of the year. So he, alayhi salatu wasalam, mentioned that Sayyidah Aisha Siddiqa radhiyallahu anha taught Sayyidina Rasulullah taught Sayyidah Aisha Siddiqa radhiyallahu anha, the mother of the believers, that I asked the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, tell me if I find the night of power, what should I recite? What should we say? And one of the du'as that you can recite in Laylatul Qadr is Allahumma innaka afu tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Oh Allah, you are forgiving and you love to forgive, so forgive me, Ya Rabbal Alameen. This is Sahih Bukhari. So Allahumma, just repeat it, Allahumma innaka afu tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. So Allahumma innaka afu tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. So this is a dua. Again, the meaning of the dua is Allah innaka afu, that you love to forgive, you I'm going to go now to the tartib. So here tonight, what you're going to be, you're going to do 8 rakat of nafil. First of all, the first 2 nafil is going to be Salatul Tawbah, where one will be repenting and beseeching Allah to forgive you for all the heinous crimes and evil and sins that we've done, and discharging the rights of Allah, which is due, not discharging the rights of the Prophet ﷺ, not violating their rights, violating the rights of our family, our wife, our children, and ourselves as well. So asking for forgiveness for all of that, and violating the rights of one's teachers and so on. So you ask for forgiveness from Allah for all the rights violated, and also asking them for all the sins that one has committed, and for Allah to guide us. Second is that Salat al-Shukr, 2 rakat Salat al-Shukr, thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all the blessings that He's giving us, especially being in Itikaf, that's a blessing in itself, but sitting in the company of Shaykh Dabbagh, that's even more of a blessing, enabling us to achieve Laylatul Qadr and so on and so on. So one can think of all the blessings and thank Allah subhanahu for that. So 2 rakat Salat al-Tawbah, 2 rakat Salat al-Shukr. Then 2 rakat Salat al-Istikhara, asking Allah subhanahu for guidance, and also hidayah, and remove oneself, removing obstacles which is hindering you from achieving His pleasure, to asking Allah subhanahu for that. And number 4 is 2 rakat Salat al-Hajat. Salatul Haja, asking Allah, the prayer of the need, is begging Allah subhanahu for His closeness, His pleasure and power of want and desire for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So 2 rakat Tawbah, 2 rakat Shukr, 2 rakat Salat Istikhara, and 2 rakat Salatul Haja. That's 8 rakat in total. That's one set of Amaals you have to do. What should you recite in these prayers of Tawbah, of Shukr, of Istikhara, and of Haja? You should recite one time Surah Fatiha, Alhamdulillah Sharif, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, or then Ayatul Kursi once, Allahu la ilaha illa hayyul qayyum, all the way to the end, wa huwa al-aliyyul azim. So 1 time Surah Fatiha, 1 time Ayatul Kursi, 7 times Surah Qadr, Inna anzalna fi Laylatul Qadr, and then 7 times Surah Ikhlas. Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. That's it. So 1 times Fatiha. Can I just ask, this is now, it's becoming an instant now, regularly. We have said this categorically right at the beginning, that any time you come here, especially what was been said earlier, is that mobile phones, your alarms, switch it off completely. Bilkul switch it off. or leave it somewhere else, because it is very disturbing. Very disturbing, completely disturbing, especially when Hasab is actually doing speech. It's the utmost disrespect you can do is actually having your phones on and alarms going off. I know it can be accidental, but completely leave it downstairs or leave it somewhere else. Don't have it then. So check your phones, beginning of the whichever lesson or whichever teacher is doing or whichever masjid you're doing, at the beginning, check your phones. Is there any alarms there? Turn it off and turn the phone off completely. So 1 time Surah Fatiha, 1 times Ayatul Kursi, 7 times Surah Qadr, and 7 times Surah Ikhlas in every single one of those prayers. Okay? That's what you have to do. What should you recite now after the Salah, after the rakats, what you've done? What should you recite after you recited all of this? These are the following Amaals. That's why you've been given the leaflet, so you can have this in front of you, you don't need to worry. Is that 10 times Durood, 33 times Astaghfirullah alladhi la ilaha illa hu al-hayyul qayyum tubu ilayh, and then 33 times Allahumma innaka afu tuhibbul afafu anni, 33 times Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, 33 times La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, and then 10 times the Durood again. So you got that in your leaflet, so don't worry, the leaflet's there, you can use that to actually pamphlet that. And also Zoom participants, you should have a PDF copy being sent to you as well. You can read it from there as well. So 10 times the Durood, Astaghfar, 33 times, 30 times Allahumma innaka afu, 33 times Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, 33 times La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, and 10 times the Durood again. Okay? What should you imagine? Obviously, in everything, our mashayikh, what they do is that whatever amals they give, so your mind doesn't become preoccupied and wander here, there, and everywhere. There's always a mindset, what you should imagine when you're doing these amals. So you should imagine that oneself is leaving this life, walking towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's kingdom. Imagine this is where we want to go, that's where we're supposed to be. We're in this world and we want to enter the kingdom of heaven, the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imagine the body is being engraved with the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imagine your body is becoming the letters of request. What is it that you want from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Imagine the body is like a paper in which you can write your feelings for all the shortcomings and shortfalls you have displayed to as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His command. So you're writing down your regret, your sorrows in this. Imagine that the blessed words, the tasbih amal, slowly beginning to illuminate your body as your request is being answered with these words of forgiveness Allah with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessed names as well. Imagine the darkness being ejected out and radiating lights is being replaced inside. Imagine yourself walking, running and flying towards Allah's closeness. Those who want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shall receive His closeness and mercy. To sum it up, if you can't remember all that, think that you're going closer and closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His pleasure. And think that all your sins is now evaporating away, washing away. That's the summary. If you sum it up, just think like that. So then, once you've done the 8 rakat nafil and the tasbihats afterwards, one should perform the meditation, the blessed name Allah, for 10 minutes. And here, imagine the blessed name Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What you do is look at the name Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, imagine this name, blessed name has been engraved on your entire body until it becomes illuminated inside your heart. So you're engraving right the name Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then what's happening in the heart is the light comes from the name Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and it's illuminating the heart. You're connecting and illuminating. Whilst it illuminates, your heart then calls to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and so that it keeps you in constant remembrance of Him. Let this blessed name dominate your entire body, when what you see, what you hear. In other words, that the ishara is being given is that if you are now imprinting the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of your body, is that now your organs in the body should be under the command of Allah. Eyes do not look at anything that they're not supposed to look at. Hands do not touch anything they're supposed to touch. Feet, etc., etc. All until now, death. That is the real Laylatul Qadr. So you do that for 10 minutes, it's meditation. Then 20 minutes, Allah, Allah dhikr. Calling out the name, blessed name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah, Allah, Allah. The seeker should call with all his body, his mind and heart. So sometimes what we're doing is that we're saying Allah, Allah, that's by the tongue. Then there is another Allah, Allah, when you're saying is that not just the tongue says, but the body says, the mind says, the heart is also calling Allah, Allah, the body is also calling Allah, Allah. So you are trying to say Allah with everything and sincerely and full of love. full of love. You know, many of us who love, who have those Romeos and Juliets, or those people who have a love for a team, or those people who have a love for a certain personality, a famous person, they love to mention the name. They can keep on saying it. For example, they have Ronaldo or Messi. They love to mention the name. Mo Salah, nowadays the new craze, I suppose. Mo Salah, Salah, and so on. I'm making all these Liverpool fans very happy by me saying this. I don't know how I could say this, but I have said it. There you go. So all these people, they'll be really, really happy by singing their name. Would you want to say Allah, 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 Lord of the worlds? You can't compare anything to it. But when you do say, you know, especially this is what I find strange, is that in the Majlis of Durood and Salam, we're very shy. Allah, Allah. Yeah, you go to Anfield, you go to, forget Anfield, you go to your own homes, and when these games and matches are being played, you should hear how you're screaming out their names when the goal is scored, etc. And with joy and happiness, you're screaming out the player's name or your team's name. With love and with yearning and with desire and the happiness and joy, calling out the name Allah, Allah, there should be no shyness. Should be happy. You should be rejoicing. It should be an honor. It's an honor to speak and utter the blessed name Allah. That's how we should say it. It's an honor. He is the King of all the worlds and we're His servants. He is the one who we desire and we seek after, and we want Him. So with with love, with force, with might, say it to the best of your ability. That's how really then you feel the effect of the majlis. When it's a majlis of loud dhikr, that's how it should be. What we do is neither do we make it a loud dhikr, and it was better maybe doing a silent dhikr. That's how it should be, because we just, Allah, be careful. You don't want to say to her, my voice isn't very nice. Well, that's not what happens when you go to Stratford, and or if you go to Anfield and you're singing, you will never walk alone. Oh yes, we know this inside, we will never walk alone. Well, really, reality is that the awliya Allah will never make you walk alone. They'll always be with you. They'll always be with you in this world, in your grave, inshallah Aziz, in Barzakh, and inshallah also in Akhirah, when everybody, but more importantly, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I mentioned this the other day, is that when Hellfire will be brought, everybody will be trembling their feet, everybody brought, and just by the grinding of the teeth of Hellfire, people on their knees, begging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, forgive me. The third gnashing of the teeth that He'll do, and He'll be looking and gazing with rage, with such a rage, every single inhabitant, including the prophets, including the messengers, including the angels, everybody who's there, they'll think they all are not going to be sent into hellfire. Imagine Jibreel alayhi salam is saying, Ya Allah, nafsi, just spare me, nafsi, nafsi, nafsi. Jibreel alayhi salam, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, all of them will be thinking, yeah, for example, we've got our best friends here. Maybe your brother is sat next to you. Your mum might be sat next to you. Here, imagine how much you love your mum, how much you love your dad, how much you love your brother, how much you love your wife, your children. That day, I don't want to know you. I don't want to be with you. They'll be running away from you. Nobody wants to be there next to you. They'll be running a mile away and say, Nafsi, 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 Allah, just save me. May my mother be sacrificed. May my brother say, you take my children and just save me. I'll be happy. Allah, just save me. That is that day. That is the reality. Yawma yafirru mar'u min akhihi. Allah SWT is saying this. That is that day. And at that day when everybody will be saying this, that day when malaika will be thinking, yes, even though they are ma'soom, they have not committed a single sin whatsoever, and they have been programmed to do exactly what Allah SWT said, has willed, still they'll be thinking, we are going to be sent into hellfire, because they know Allah SWT's Qadr, might and power, and it's just His adl. Still, whatever they're doing, they think it doesn't befit. Yet still, like you're singing, you'll never walk alive. This is the reason why I'm saying it, because on that day when everybody will say nafsi, 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 one voice will be heard saying ummati, ummati, ummati. And that is our messenger, our beloved messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is the one who will be crying and weeping for you when everybody was just thinking about themselves. And yet still we can't find the time to think about Him, to remember Him, to follow Him. So make this night, if this is Laylatul Qadr, let's make this night in which we really show our love and appreciation and emulate that beloved Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Let him become the dominating factor. Let those colour, we like to put the Liverpool top on, or the Manchester United upon, or the Barcelona or the Real Madrids and so on. Let's put the colour and the strip and the uniform of Sunnah upon our life, upon our bodies, upon our minds, upon our hearts. Let's transform this body into that. So Allah dhikr for 20 minutes. What should you do? So the inner should be, like I mentioned here, is not with empty call, with love and want and yearning and desire to be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with that sort of a heart calling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then for 20 minutes, the dua which Rasulullah taught Hazrat Aisha Siddiqah radhiyallahu anha, Allahumma innaka afuwun kareem tuhibbul afwa fa'anna ya ghafur, and other things you can add, but these are Allahumma innaka afu tuhibbul afwa fa'anni. Do this dua for 20 minutes, inshallah Aziz, and then inshallah, so that's, I'll just repeat again. So you got the 8 rakats of nafil. After the nafil, we should recite, what should you recite? Surah Fatiha, Ayatul Kursi, Surah Qadr 7 times, Surah Ikhlas 7 times in every single one of those nafil namaz, every rakat. And then afterwards you recite these du'as and askars, afterwards nafil prayer. Thereafter 10 minutes meditation of the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thereafter Allah dhikr for 20 minutes. Thereafter you do the Allahumma innaka afu, 20 minute dhikr of that. And then inshallah Aziz, that should be everything. That those are the amals you should do. Then really those are just amals. These are just amals. Remember, don't rely on amals. This is what Rasulullah never said that we will enter hellfire, to paradise with the amals, did he? What did he say? He said, it's only through the mercy of Allah that will enter paradise. Even he himself is saying that, in other words, teaching, he is already personally Jannah, don't worry about that, but what we're saying is that he is teaching me and you, oh my ummati, don't just rely on amals, don't just rely on good deeds, rely on him. Put all your hope and all your wants and desire upon him. Turn to him. He is the source of everything. That is what we need to do. Sometimes what happens is we get amals or we get fixated, we have to do the amals. Yes, you should do amals. Definitely, that's basically is like you earning so that you can qualify for paradise. But whoever has hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well as doing the amals, that is the greatest thing you can do. So turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, finding how to really use this night to really reconnect. If you're one of those who are going away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, use this night to reconnect to Him, submit to Him, and follow His command and His beloved. And that is how we'll inshallah enter the kingdom of heaven and His pleasure forever and ever, if you really make this night the night of power. Okay, so the amaz, leaflet you've been given there. Tonight is an odd night. So afterwards, when we finish, have our iftari, when we've done that, and then if we have time after that, and when we've done recited as scars, you may start then. Start, you'll have about half an hour, maybe 45 minutes before Taraweeh. Start your amals then, if you want to. Then afterwards, when Taraweeh is finished, you got some more time. If you've been given some more time, you can do that as well for 20 minutes, half an hour before the next session. Before the Rood Majlis, you'll have some more time then. Seems like odd night. Maybe this is an even night, but inshallah, according to us, it's an odd night. So if you want odd nights, but if you want to do every night, there's no harm as well. So they can say, guys, you can do this every night if you wish, because we don't know one another. Yes, Husnain.
So you only use your Quran, first rakat, you use Surah Fatiha, Ayatul Kursi, 7 times Qadr, 7 times class. Then the second rakat, you just repeat.
So yeah, same thing. So in every rakat, that's what you recite. That's the formula. So 1 times Fatiha, Ayatul Kursi once, 7 times Surah Qadr, and 7 times Surah Ikhlas. Now, I'm also waiting for the other question, which every year we get it. There we go. There we go. That's the question as well. That's what I was waiting for. What is if you don't know Surah Qadr? Okay. So if you don't know Surah Qadr, do Surah Ikhlas. Maybe Surah Ikhlas is fine. And if you want to add another 7 of make it 14 Surah Ikhlas, that's fine as well. There's no harm. Or if you want to just do Surah Ikhlas, This is fine as well, inshallah. But try to learn. If this is your fifth year you're saying this, so why have you not learned Surah Qadr yet? Today, I'm going to make sure that you don't go Adam until you learn Surah Qadr. This is the next 8 days, 7 days you're going to learn Surah Qadr. I think it's how many. Somebody just quickly. Let me just check how many verses it is. Let me just see. Sorry, it's not in my head. So the person who asked the question is also dangerous as well, because the instructions also keep a note. He's been asking me this question every year, same thing. So the hot spot there, number one, you're not going away. Or that means maybe the other Nelsoners have got the same issue as well. You see, the reason I mentioned the Nelson is because I have Nelson has a special fondness. My brother Majid's not here, is he? Okay. There's a special fondness in my heart for Nelson. So that's why I look after them extremely well when they come here, mashallah. So that's why. Any question, anything else regarding this? Yes, brother.
Yeah, you still get to read 8 rakats. So obviously because of limited of time, I mean some people read fast, some people read slow. So we have small breaks. Can we read like 2 rakats?
Yes, of course. This is what spread it out. You don't have to do like 8 rakat in one go. No, 2 rakat. For example, if you can do 2 rakats after Maghrib, if you want to, straight after iftar, we'll move it and then come down. If you want to start, you start. Inshallah, is that you start that. So if you can get 2 rakats in now, maybe 2 rakats before tea, then 2 rakats after tea, that's fine. This is how you can do it, inshallah.
Is that all the way to Fajr time?
Yeah, and then as an extra karam, what our beloved teacher they mentioned is that, let's say because you've been tired and other things been going on, you have not been able to finish it. Don't worry, you got till noon. You got till Zohar, before Zohar, 1 hour before Zohar to finish them all off. So don't worry about it. So take your time, have it in your heart to do it. So afterwards, after Fajr, even if you still got Amaals left, finish it off then as well. So don't worry. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He indeed is most merciful, most kind, inshallah. Any other questions? Yes, brother.
You have to read Surah Al-Fatiha twice.
Once.
Because in Rome, you read a Surah, over here since read Surah Al-Fatiha, then Surah Al-Ikhlas, then Surah Al-Qadr.
Okay, so here is that what you've done is that you've fixed the Surah Al-Fatiha already, which is good. So therefore you take the one Surah Al-Fatiha away. So you normally, as you're saying, is that normally in Nafil namaz you do, any prayer that you do Surah Al-Fatiha, isn't it? Yeah. So this is already just saying is that in case we're saying there's a blank canvas, 2 rakat, blank. Okay, what are you going to fill that 2 rakat? You're going to recite Surah Al-Fatiha, you're going to recite Ayatul Kursi, you're going to recite 7 times Surah Qadr, you're going to recite 7 times Ikhlas. That's it, yeah? So there should be no the Fatiha. Just 1 time Surah Fatiha, 1 time Ayatul Kursi, Surah Qadr 7 times, Surah Ikhlas 7 times. Okay? So in every rakat. Any other questions? No question is a silly question. Remember this, no question is a silly question. It's all valuable. It's so that you have clarity, faham, you have the understanding that you know what you're doing. Any other questions, brothers? Okay, we got how many minutes? Is it 30? 10 minutes. So for 5 minutes we'll do a little bit of dhikr. We'll just do any durood and salawat upon the Prophet ﷺ, and then inshallah in 5 minutes we shall take it. So if you just divert your minds and hearts towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His presence, think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with me, He's seeing me, He's listening to my dhikr. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد صدق الله العظيم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم محمد سيد الكونين وثقلين محمد سيد الكونين وثقلين والفريقين من عرب ومن عجم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم فاعلم أنه لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا إله إلا الله 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 إلا الله إلا الله إلا الله 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 لا إله إلا 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 الله إلا
Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Astaghfirullah alladhi la ilaha illa hu al-hayyul qayyum وأتوب إليه اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحابه وسلم. MashaAllah. Now if you like to slowly make yourself way up to the upstairs for iftar, inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan. Just 1 second. Hold on.
Okay, just
I know I'm waiting for something to happen to me. But this waiting comes with trials and challenges.